We're back in Syracuse. This is the Pontiac International Team Championship on NBC. To the American team now, David Henderson, originally from Kansas City, now training in Houston, Texas. He's one of those 18-year-olds we were talking about a few minutes ago.
And this is big time for him. This is his first international competition. Before this, his biggest meet was basically the Junior Nationals last year, where he was second.
But he trains with Olympian Sean Townsend, and I asked him, did Sean have any encouraging words for you for your first international event? And he said, just do well.
Wasn't exactly Newt Rockne there, huh?
I asked him what his best quality was, and he said right there, it's strength.
Yeah.
But Tim, in the future, it's going to be everything. I'm telling you, I'm going to get there. His coach told me he's very, very confident individual.
Yeah, he said he's determined to make this an artistic sport, and he wants to showcase that through his gymnastics.
Double laid out somersault right here.
Wow.
All right, no hop, no step, no nothing from David Henderson.
Really come on like gangbusters. He started gymnastics very late at 13 years old. His improvement has been remarkable. But as we've said, gymnastics 101, fly in the air, put your feet down, don't move them.
Yeah, that's remarkable, especially for his first time out.
9.45, that looks like a keeping score for the United States. Now back to Romania. And this man, Marian Dragulescu, was the floor exercise European champion in earlier 2000. So this is something he is very, very good at.
One of the biggest daredevils in all of gymnastics right here.
But we didn't see that performance from him at the Sydney Olympic Games. Again, remember, the floor exercise mat was a huge controversy for many of the athletes. They said it was much too hard.
Hard to do or not that giving?
The actual exercise, the actual floor mat was hard. They couldn't rebound, couldn't get the same kind of height that they can get off of an American floor mat such as this one.
Of course, underneath this carpet, there's a piece of foam, and then there are springs. That helps the athlete get in the air, but this guy's got springs of his own.
Big time.
The Romanian men have been absolutely fascinated watching the American presidential election play out on television on a nightly basis. Remember, this was a country that had one guy, Ceausescu, involved for years. There was no such thing as an election.
Yikes, what a great dismount, double-double. This is going to be one of the top floor scores you'll see at this competition.
Just gigantic difficulty throughout, and that dismount, it just blows me away every time I see an athlete that does, I mean, double twisting double at the end, that's just too hard.
Yeah,
you shouldn't be able to do that.
Typically see that move in the first tumbling pass.
And speaking of that first tumbling pass, double laid out somersault, and he will stop his backward momentum, spot the ground, and then do a 1 1/4 front flip.
Has a little bit extra to spare right there.
He's a powerful kid.
That gets the largest score we've seen so far, a 9.6 for Dragulescu
And
of Romania.
I think too low, Al. That was a little bit low.
Well, you know, Tim, over the years, they've been a little stingy with the scores in Syracuse. That's been proven. Here's Yanan.
Oftentimes you see the Chinese gymnasts, and they are so formal. There are certain rules in the code of points. It says you're supposed to address yourself to the judge, so he turned his back to the head judge to show him his number.
Yanan actually comes from the same hometown as Zhang, who is one of the stars of the Sydney Olympics for the Chinese team. He says they've been training together since they were kids.
First gymnast we've seen doing a lot of that one pommel work. He's a little bit off here. Has to struggle a little bit just to stay on the horse. Of course, every time you spread your legs or have to fight a little bit. It takes a little bit more energy.
It's actually been hitting the pommels quite a few times as well. Those are tense right there, and there's a huge, huge struggle on the dismount.
Yeah, that's bad.
Costly.
Yeah, he should get nailed for that because...
Oh, you could feel it in his arms almost. Really had to try to press through that.
But you can see he's not one of the strongest athletes on this Chinese team. And like I said, he struggled a little bit early on, and just when he gets to the end, he basically runs out of gas and doesn't have the reserve.
Yeah, really a shame because the first half of his routine, he had a really pretty line with his body.
8.95, so he does get duly deducted. Now we get to the story of Columbus, Ohio's Jamie Natalie. There he was in Boston, Massachusetts, live on NBC Sports in 5th place at the Olympic trials. Unfortunately, he knew that only the top 4 were guaranteed a spot and that the other 2 selections would be made by a panel, and that selection did not include him. He went to Sydney as the alternate and was therefore not officially an Olympian, didn't get the bag full of goodies, didn't get the uniform, didn't get anything. And boy, that's tough.
Yeah, I tell you, and I felt for him. There's no question about it because he had the meat of his life. What it came down to is John Roethlisberger just fit the holes a little bit better for this U.S. team, and he got the call.
And Morgan Hamm as well. And so it'll be a long journey back to another Olympic dream for Jamie Natalie, but he is competing with enthusiasm here in Syracuse. Awesome was the word that they used. We'll get his score and tell you who did what after one rotation here at the International Team Championships. Back in Syracuse at the Pontiac International Team Championships, 1 of 6 rotations complete. Right now, Romania has a 3/10 lead over the United States, a slight lead over China. Jamie Natalie was given a 9.35 on the still rings. Now we get to Brett McClure of Colorado Springs at 19. He was another one who in Boston just missed at the Olympic trials. He finished 7th.
Actually sprained his ankles at the first leg of the qualifying process for the Olympic team, and right on that line. But yeah, the line is in on the floor exercise, so you can be on it. You just can't step over it.
Again, a lot of these tumbling passes that we're seeing from the old code will be devalued as we move into the next cycle.
You guys keep bringing that up. Who pushes the harder code? What makes this happen? Why is it being done?
Well, really what happens typically every 4 years, they go in and they take a look at the rules, and if it becomes too easy for the athletes to get closer to that 10.0, then they make dramatic changes. And
they is the International Gymnastics Federation.
Yeah, a group of former gymnasts, a lot of times, hopefully.
It's not baseball players.
Sometimes you got to wonder the rules
Current
that
judges.
come out of there. Well, he told me he had no idea how he'd do today. He'd be like a light switch, either on or off.
Yeah, he said he just got the call a couple of weeks ago and really wasn't in any kind of shape to be competing at this level, but was certainly going to put his best into this meet.
Last year, he finished 3rd in the all-around in this event. So the event alone brings back some pretty good memories.
He's one of the most natural gymnasts that the USA has. Just very, very good lines. A light-looking gymnast. Things aren't hard for him, and more importantly, it doesn't look hard when he does them.
9-6, that's a very solid score considering the scoring so far for Brett McClure. Now back to the Chinese. This is Shangwu. And this is his breakout year. 17. Last year he was all about junior this and junior that. Now he's competing at the big deal level.
Yeah, and he says that still rings is one of his favorite events, and you'll see why, because rings is all about being strong, and this guy, he is a monster.
Tim, how long have the Chinese been wearing the yellow velour of Li Ning?
A long time. And
it's a big name in that country.
I like it because it, but look at, I mean, he's low, he's level, but he's rock solid. I mean, he's not shaken.
I hope his parents aren't watching this show, because they were the ones that didn't want him to get involved in gymnastics. They thought it was too hard on the body.
They were right about that, by the way.
Yeah, he is really strong, 17 years old.
Has been at the National Training Center for the last 4 years in Beijing.
Big step on the landing, but that should get a really nice score.
Yeah, he comes out of that big school, and I'm sure you guys living in the gymnastics community have had so many people comment about those shots we had in the Olympics of all those little kids training. You know, factory is not a fair word, but that's almost what it is.
Yeah, no question. And he was one of those little guys. There's no doubt about that.
Now we have a little dispute going on here.
It's supposed to be a friendly competition.
Oh, it is to a certain degree, but the Romanians won every score that's coming to them.
Well, see, they've never beaten the United States at this competition, so this is an important win for them.
9-5, 7-5, Shangwu